Welcome to the Embrace Her Legacy podcast, the #1 personal development classroom for millennial women, hosted by Embrace Her Legacy founder and CEO, Maria I. Melendez. Ladies, get ready to evoke your feminine confidence and be inspired to master your relationship with yourself so you can fabulously live your legacy. If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to visit us at embraceherlegacy.com, where you can support our mission by making a donation of any amount or sign up to become part of our community of volunteers and supporters, the Embrace Her Legacy Collective. Our vision is for every woman and every girl to defeat her inner saboteur, master her relationship with self, and live out her legacy unapologetically. Enjoy the podcast.
Okay. Welcome everybody to the Embrace Her Legacy podcast, the #1 personal development classroom for millennial women. I am your host, founder and CEO of Embrace Her Legacy, Maria I. Melendez. And today, when I say I'm so excited about today's episode, because I know it's going to be a hot lot of kiki. I literally have two of my favorite sister, home, girlfriend, cousins on this podcast episode. And we're talking about being single in the city. We are going to be telling our dating tales and just fun girl talk about singleness, just to inspire you, some of you single ladies out there. You can be single and be happy and be beautiful. So my first guest is TV host, producer extraordinaire. Her name is Dana Blair. And then my next guest is my wonderful cousin, Briana Nelson. Can you ladies introduce yourselves? Tell us more about you, what you do. Say hello to the people.
You know I'm horrible at doing that, right? I'm horrible at that. My name is Dana Blair. I'm from Louisiana. I always put that into my intros. TV producer, correspondent, personality, however you want to put it, hot mess, and figuring it out.
Yes.
That's me.
Okay. Hey y'all, it's Brie. So I am 25. I'm from Brooklyn. I work for a tech company right now. I'm brand new. I feel like I'm brand new in a lot of this dating game. You know what I'm saying? And it's been 5-6 years. I still feel like an amateur. But so I'm figuring it out as well. And yeah, I got a lot of new things going on. There'll be some projects and stuff coming out, so maybe I'll be able to promote that at some point. But yeah.
I love it. So, all right, let's jump right into it, ladies. We're all single. Are we single and ready to mingle right now? Or are we single and frustrated? And I just want to stay at my house. Pretty much, where are you in your dating and being single? Are you happy? Are you frustrated? Do you got a little something? Like, how do you feel about where you are in your singleness right now? I hate Dana's face. I hate her. That look like you frustrated, sis. You frustrated?
No, I mean, Briana, I don't know if you wanted to jump in. I'm at a place where I'm older, I'm in my late 30s. So I'm just at a place where I need you to be as prepared and pulled together as you expect me to be as prepared and pulled together. So I'm dating, but nobody's really boiling my potato.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, okay, this is fun. I don't feel bad about getting cute to come outside. I'm probably, but in your head, you're like, I'm probably not going to be speaking to you in like 2 months.
You know what
I mean?
Sometimes it's 2 weeks. You like, I know this is not going to go past this weekend. But okay.
I don't, and it's like, I'm in a place where it's like, I'm dating and I want to date and be in a relationship, right? But I think I'm a lazy dater. I don't want to know your favorite color. I don't want to know, like, if you had a dog when you were growing up. I don't care anymore. I'm just I'm drained by the whole process. I'm drained by the process. And I don't want to keep explaining why I cut my hair. I don't want to keep explaining my tattoo. Like, it's just like, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to go together? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Any diseases I need to know about? Great. We'll be going to your mama house. Like, that's where I'm at. I'm just tired. I'm lazy. Like, I don't know. I think whoever I'm going to be in a relationship with next, it has to be extremely vocal and say, Dana, I want to be with you. And I'll be like, oh,
Okay. Okay. Dee, do you feel, and those of us who are listening, Dana, when she said cut her hair, Dana has a fabulous bald head, right?
Oh, Lord.
So, and I know Dee, I know you and I have had this discussion before,
Right.
but is that really, like, do men really, is that an issue? Like, men really out here, like, why you cut your hair?
Oh, I get asked that all the time. That's the first question usually. When a guy doesn't ask me that, it's actually a turn on. But it is a question that I get asked quite a bit.
And how do you feel? Like, does it make you feel like, ugh? Like, how do you feel?
It doesn't. It only bothers me when it's followed up with, so when are you going to grow it back? That's the only time it bothers me. Okay. Other than that, I'm like, why'd you cut off all your hair? And I'm like, why are you growing a beard? I don't know.
Yeah. I can't stand you. I got it. So, Bree, where are you with your dating? How are you feeling right now?
So, I've been single since I was about 20, I think.
Your mic is a little low, babe.
No.
Now, see right there. There you go.
I'm gonna have to stay
here.
Yeah,
stay right there. Stay right there.
Yes. So, so I've been single since 25 up until like literally a month ago. So when this was set up, I was single-ish, and so I'm like, because I feel like I've learned that as traditional as I like my men and relationships, which it took me a minute to come to that, because I'm super progressive and eclectic and eccentric, and that there's so much happening that is new and that's able to even be that's being normalized, that I'm just I just want all this freedom. I'm loving the freedom and the freedom to think about what is it that I do want in a relationship, what do I expect, what don't I want, things like that. And I finally realized that I'm pretty traditional. I'm very traditional, and I've found myself like falling into something, and I think what made that why I'm okay with it, and why I'm like, I can do this, let's do this, let's go all in with each other. I finally there wasn't much expectation. It was very freeing. Like, I found myself, I officially kind of like backed off, and things just literally began to like melt together.
Mm-hmm.
Together in the space of like, oh wow, this is actually happening. Like, everything began to come together around that, and like now I feel really comfortable, which is weird, because I feel like usually when I was dating, I wasn't comfortable. You know what I mean? I was on guard. I need to know, are you serious? Are you serious? Which is what you say? Is what you say really what you mean? Are you emotionally available, even though you're saying you're available? And all these things that come with it. And what's your relationship like with your mom? And what do you really want in your future? And do you want that now, or do you not want that? Are you sure? Do you know what you want?
You asking?
They don't know. They don't know what they want, and it doesn't change as you get older. They don't know.
Right. And so
that's
I
not
from a lot of that, and there's been a lot of protection and a lot of you keep the, and I don't have to protect myself anymore. I'm like, wow, oh, so I'm okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can just be like that. This is okay.
Okay.
And we want the same things, and so I'm like, wow, I'm not single.
So
I was single-ish.
You were single-ish. So now y'all are dating exclusively.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, got it. And at first it was like, so I think what you're saying, Brie, is like sometimes us as women, and I know, like, love never comes when I'm looking for it. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. It's like when I be minding my whole business at the Trader Joe's, then love want to go and pass me a bag. I'd be like, like I came for my wine. I wasn't looking for you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes when you like let go, yeah, and you just out here chilling, happy, content, mm-hmm, here comes love knocking at your door. Like, you're like, okay, all right, love, I'm open. Right.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Right, that's how it works. I think for me, Dana, I'm more on your end. I think for me, where I am in my dating, I am so. For those of you who don't know, you two know because y'all know me. For the audience who doesn't know, like I was in a serious relationship forever and ever, amen. Like I did a bid, it was 10 years long, and then
it's not a bid. You didn't do a bid.
It was a bid. It was a bid. I did a bid. I did a bid. Yes, I did.
Wait, my homegirl earlier, she called her husband her roommate. She's like, so my roommate said, I was like, he's your husband. So you over here talking about I did a bid. Girl.
It was a bid, okay. So I did a bid for 10 years, and then, you know, when it ended with betrayal and infidelity and all that other stuff, I took 2 years off of dating just to heal and get my life right. And when I started dating again, honey, okay, when I say 20, I think like I've been dating for like 2 years. So I think 2018 was when I was getting my feet wet. 2019, that was a hot girl summer. Like, you know what I mean? And
I remember that summer.
I know, because both of y'all have participated in my hot girl summer shenanigans. All right. So,
I remember that. I wasn't even living in New York, and I was a part of that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And Bree, you saw me live and direct. Bree was right there sitting next to me, like, that's my cousin. So
we here together.
Right? We was all like out here. And for me, that was like summer in 2019 was so monumental for me. It was the first time in my life, in my now 35, was 34 at the time, that I was single and whole as an adult and dating multiple people. Like I was single and I was unapologetic. You know, like I felt like I got a swag about me. I was out here having a good time.
Wait, hold on, Briana. Let me just tell you about your cousin.
Tell me.
She was so swagalicious. I was in New York for something, don't remember what. We got together for a 10 a.m. coffee meeting. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's just meet up real quick. We'll grab coffee. Regardless of the fact that 4 hours later, we're drinking bottles of rosé. That's not the point. The point is that I threw on some sneakers and some leggings and some boots. Because I don't own sneakers. Some leggings and some boots. And like, I just showed up. This one comes stomping down the street, coat draped over shoulders, in a pump with a lip, sunglasses on, beat. And I was like, she's like, it's been this summer. And I was like,
girl, I was
like, is she giving me draped layers and it's July?
I'm ready. I was ready. What do you say? I was ready. Okay. Like ready. I was single and ready to mingle. And I was really content. And I was very specific to the men I was dating. Listen, bro, if you looking for a wife, I ain't her right now. You know what I mean? Like I need to be single. Okay. Like I need to be out here. And I felt good. Like, and I hate to say it when, Monday's one, Tuesday's another, Wednesday. And it was just freaking. It was freeing. I have never dated like that. This is the first time I'm dating as an adult. And what that season taught me, what I really wanted in a guy. I had never, because, when I got with my ex, I was 2021. I had never been courted. I had never experienced like, so that's what we doing? Like, Yeah. So I got to learn what I like and what I don't like as an adult. Now let's fast forward to 2020. By the end of 2019, I will say I got tired. I was like, okay, like this is cute.
It's a lot of work.
I got tired. I was like, I'm tired. And then boom, COVID hits. And I'm like, that's really what changed my trajectory, because I really, how you say you want family, kids, all of that. I said I wanted that, but I think COVID made it real. COVID put everything in perspective, quarantining, being in the house. And then also 2020, I turned 35. So I went to my doctor like, sis, really facing those, like, all right, like you getting older, girl. And I had to say, all right, I need to make space for what I really want in my life, considering my age. If I was 28, I'd still be out there dipping it and doing it. And I'm going to dip it and do it tonight. You know what I mean? But like, I now have to be a little more conscious to say, all right, I want something serious. So now the men I've dated in 2020, some of them are lingerers. One of them, he's a lingerer from 2019. But again, nobody serious. Like you said, Dana, nobody that's boiling my potato. And now I'm just frustrated. I was just like, y'all it's a little too much for me. Like, I just was like, just my homegirls are calling it, I don't know if the men I run into, it's just like wishy-washiness. Wishy-washy or weird. And I was just like,
I think the wishy-washiness part of it is that there's no accountability anymore, and you don't have to step up to a certain plate if you don't want to, because you have all of these dating apps and all of these different things. So there's a lot of access. And I can only speak for myself. I'm a traditional person, going to what Briana said. I'm a traditional person in a non-traditional package in a non-traditional industry. So it's very difficult to meet people who can see past those things or who actually genuinely want to connect. And you know me, Maria, I'm a straight shooter. I'm like, what are we doing? What, like, I'm very direct. Sometimes it's abrasive. I'm okay with it. And I go off of something my father said. I remember my dad, this was right before my dad, he's going to probably kill me for telling this story, but it's okay. I think I'm his favorite.
I love him.
But when my dad started dating my stepmom, my father met her, let's say he met her night one. They went out like 2 nights later on their first date. The next morning, my dad had been dating like 1 or 2 of the women, called them and said, I can't see you anymore. I met someone and I want to know where this is going.
What?
And I remember walking out of my room and hearing him in the kitchen. And I was like, what are you doing? And he said, baby girl, I'm always baby girl. He's like, baby girl, look. He's like, if a man knows himself and a man is honest with himself, he could take you to dinner, and by dessert, he knows where you're going to stand.
Wow.
He knows if you're going to be a temporary situation, a long-term thing, a jump. He knows. And he said, and he's like, and I found something and I'm not playing any games.
Wow.
And so I always use that as my barometer, especially, look, if I'm dating a guy, the guys I'm dating now are, I'll say anywhere from 30, sorry, that was my phone. From anywhere from, the guys I'm dating now are from 37 to like mid 40s.
Okay.
If you don't know yourself at this point and what you're looking for, then what we doing?
Come on. What we doing?
And I may not be it. I may not be what you're looking for, but can we verbulate can we talk? Can we parlay?
Absolutely.
Do the kids even still say that? I don't even know. But can we have a conversation?
Right. That makes sense.
So those are my thoughts on that.
I think too, like, there's this fear that a lot of us women carry that we don't want to push the button. So we don't want to have those conversations like I
don't care. I'll push the button.
Girl, because I'm like, let me tell you what we not gonna do, right? Like, what we not gonna do is you're not gonna waste my time, right? So we have to have those communications. And I think us as women, we have to be okay with him saying, nah, this is not something that...
Okay.
Go
Can
ahead.
I throw something in there? I don't mean to cut you off. Don't push the button on your second date. There's some people who push the button on the second date and like, where are we going? And you're like...
that's what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
I'm not talking about that.
I do think that in them first initial dates, you should ask, where are you? Like, what are you looking for right now? Especially if you out here dating with a purpose and you know you trying to be married by the end of 2021, is on your vision board, whatever. Like, I think that you should ask, like, not what we are doing, but like, where are you? Because some of these men tell us real upfront and clear, I'm not looking for anything serious. And then we go, and I've had that happen to me with men. I'm like, sir, I know I was very clear when I said, if you're looking for a wife right now, I'm not her, right? So like, and then it's like, then you find yourself in a situation like, damn, I'm feeling shorty. I'm like, but I kind of told you what it was. So I do think there has to be some sort of like open communication about where you are. Because if you know in your heart of hearts that you don't want children, you don't want married, you're not, and then I know that that's not my lane. And I know eventually, like y'all said, I'm traditional. Then why are we wasting it? Why are we wasting each other's time? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So Dana, I want to circle back to you because we talk about being single in the city. So my girl, she says she's from Alexandria, Louisiana. Right. And then, but you, I feel like you one of us, right? Because you were in New York for how many? 15 years?
16 years.
16 years. All right. So Dana went from New York, but then you moved to LA.
And then probably moving back to New York later. We'll talk about that.
Oh, come on. Yes. Make that announcement on the podcast because that's what the people in Brooklyn need. We need you back. But I know specifically that dating changed for you when you went from, and you would think New York to LA, boom, one major city to another. It's all good. But my sis would come back to Brooklyn and be like, Maria, I just need to see a Black man with Timbs. Like, it was just so, I was just like, oh my, and you're not the only homegirl of mine who's done the move from New York to LA. And then it's like, oh girl, that was not the move. So tell me more about that. Like the move, like how was your dating life in another?
There was no dating life in LA. I didn't date.
No?
I think I went out with like one dude. I had like one decent dating experience in 3 years, but I didn't date in LA. Brothers in LA are different. They're gonna hate me for saying that, but if you're a sister in LA, the dating pool is definitely different. And I used to feel like I could run naked down the street in LA and nobody would pay me attention.
What?
That's how I used to feel. I didn't like dating in LA for a woman of color or as a woman of color was very different. And I realized it. I was feeling it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Dana, you're being insecure and self-conscious, whatever. And then I was actually at a press junket downtown. And there's a room, an array of just beautiful Black and brown women. And one girl said, so, any of y'all dating? And everybody was like, nah.
What?
And then another girl chimed in. It was like 7 or 8 of us in the room. She was like, you got to import your man out here. This is LA.
Not import.
And then 2 different dudes I went on dates with within about 6 weeks time told me that I was going to have a hard time dating in LA. 1, because I was very honest. And 2, they were like, y'all aren't really what's popping out here in LA. And by y'all, they meant Black women. What? And they told me that to my face. And I was like, right. I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know how I feel about what you just said. And I don't know what to do with that information. And I've seen successful Black couples. So don't come in my DMs, people. Don't do it. Oh. I've seen it in LA, but it is, I don't care what anybody says. It is very different dating in LA as a woman of color. And then every time I flew and traveled for work, Chicago, New York, DC, and a dude would holler at me on the street. I'd be like, oh, snap, you talking to me? I forgot I was cute. And I'm like, hey,
cute. I forgot I was cute. Oh my God.
Maria, you were with me the first time I came back to New York. I hadn't been in New York in like 8 or 9 months since I left. I was looking at brothers like this.
Yes, she was.
Like a puppy out the window.
She kept, I was like, Erica, I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, Dana, what are you looking at? And she was like, there's a Black man. I was like,
brother. There's a brother right there. And I love him. And look, this is not to say, because, this is social media. You have to caveat everything. Yes, there are plenty of beautiful chocolate men in LA. Shout out to my brothers in LA. However, I think you have to be very intentional in LA versus when I was living in Brooklyn, I could step on my stoop and holler at 12 different dudes.
Right.
And so it was a culture shock in that regard as well, in terms of access. Boom, look at what I did.
She said, boom, look at what I did. I do think that there's nothing also like a New York dude. I'm sorry for all my other cities listening out there. I'm sorry, but there's something about a New York, especially a Brooklyn dude. Like, it's like there's a certain...
The other boroughs are about to hate you and slide in your DMs.
I don't care. They can hate me all they want. Like, I'm sorry. I know.
Briana, which borough are you in?
Brooklyn.
You're in Brooklyn. Okay.
But it's just like, it's something about it. It's like, it's a certain comfort piece to be like, oh, you putting on your Timbs? Like, it's just like...
A Brooklyn dude's going to take care of you different.
Right. It's like, okay, Brooklyn, where you from, Flatbush? All right. It's something. But I want to talk about, like, as far as, because I know we all said that we have been single for a certain amount of time, but I think, what have you learned about yourself during this season of singleness?
Wow. Ooh, that's big.
That's a good one, right? Bree, get close to the mic.
Oh. I was saying that's big. Woo. So when I started dating, I was, very young, teeny bopper, like 14, 15, had my little boyfriend. Oh, you love me, I love you too. It was great. I think he was selling weed since like 12. So he bought me school shoes, he bought me my coats, he bought me and my sister's pizza, cookies,
Brooklyn.
food.
Brooklyn dudes, they know how to do it. Right. They show up, right, with the sneakers in your size. You get really excited. You be like, "Oh, you know what? We have 5.5." Okay.
I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you!" Like everybody knew, we were very much the item couple when we were younger. I moved to Florida, so I saw the difference in access as well out there. I think that being in New York, people are just all over the place. There's so many people that people know, like, if you're not going to see this person again, you got to shoot your shot. It's not like where places like, I find like Florida was very everything was home centered. You know what I mean? So everything is very access had to be. It just felt a bit more close and intimate before they even make a move. You know what I mean? Opposed to out here, I'm going to the store to go get a sandwich and like, "Your hair looks very nice, mommy. I just want to say, and it's like, thank you, But so that was like the beginning, and then I already know, hey, I'm gonna need to be single because like I'm gonna be in school for 4 years, and then I have, and then maybe, I'll be back maybe 5 years. I'm not gonna be here. You know what I mean? Broke heart, broke up, and then I was dating. This is where I realized that this young man set a bar, like, which is hard to believe or hard to fathom for me because we were so young and I knew that. I ended up learning that I ran into a lot of. Can I use the N-word here?
We the children might be listening, so we go.
For the baby.
Babies.
Right. So I realized that I had a lot to learn because I was just any and everything. You know what I'm saying? I was running into any and everything with a lot of boys and then into men. And I began to get extremely tired as well. And I was young. I'm 20 and I'm tired. Like tired, you know what I'm saying? And I think I fell in love at 20, broke my heart, worst thing ever. I mean, I thought I was gonna pass away. I was like, there's nothing else in life. There's nothing.
I've been there before, yeah.
Oh my God. Every night I come home and lay in my bed and cry. For a year, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Years. I saved myself for a year for this person. And it made no sense. You know what I'm saying? But I had to learn my own lessons. You know what I'm saying? Jumped back out there, started dating. Everything was toxic. Everything was a mess. Everything was a mess. And I realized that I was a mess. You know what I'm saying? I realized that I had a lot to learn. I had a lot to learn about boundaries. For me, boundaries was my greatest lesson. And I realized that I grew up in a way where everything that was mine was for everyone. And I also had this innocence about me where I didn't believe that people would do to me what I wouldn't do to them. You know what I'm saying? And I also didn't have experience with any men who didn't have an ulterior motive because my father wasn't around at the time. So, those prime years from like, into preteenhood into, 18, 19, 20, I didn't have anyone around. So I literally did not know one man that I could trust, you know what I'm saying? So I was only meeting men from my point of innocence and getting hurt over and over again and getting shocked and a lot of traumatic shit happening. And I realized, okay, so let's start with saying no or speaking up. You know what I'm saying? I found myself being very much an observer, and I was very much I was more receptive than I was of a projector. You know what I'm saying? So I would, instead of when I saw something wrong, I wouldn't say anything. I kind of just sit with it, like and put it in my file cabinet for later, and then just watch the mess take place, and then be like, damn, I knew it. I learned, one, to speak up. I learned, two, to set boundaries, and I mean like really heavy, strong boundaries. And that was hard because I didn't know what to protect. And so I had to have things get invaded and, um, have people cross lines with me for me to realize which lines I need to now draw. So like mad trial and error, as I think we all do,
Right.
and I think something I really realized was that I needed to, mm, I needed to slow down. I think with people because I think that have a very fiery, fast nature. So when somebody had interest and they were like, I can do this, let's do this with you. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Boom. We just, we're just now we're exclusive or it was just so much going on and I allowed myself to fall into a relationship or two after having a 3-year break. Um, because after I got my heart broken, I was in those really traumatic relationships. I realized I needed a break from everything and everyone. And I gave myself a very intense, um, full life cleaning. So all of my friends can attest to this. I did not talk to any of them for 3 years.
Wow.
I did not date for 3 years. I had took no numbers. I let no one talk to me for 3 years. I did not, the only people I had on my phone was the people I lived with, was my mother and my sisters, and my weed man at the time. Yeah.
Just the essentials. The essentials.
Essentials.
I have the essentials in my phone.
Okay. These were the only people who would call me. I spoke to no one. And I found myself going into it was cleaning and it was also like a depressive state, but a purge. It was a cycle that was happening that I allowed myself to go through. Because I wanted something new. I wanted different. And I'm like, I'm just gonna take these actions. Like I just don't want like everything can stop for a second. So I did that. And that's when I got back out there into the dating game. I started dating a lot more professional people because before that I was dating. I was just coming out of high school, so like literally I took a 3-year break and kind of began to date. This is all happening as a young adult.
Yeah.
So people who were in my spaces were, this is Brooklyn. It was the scammers. You know what I'm saying? You said, oh, he got a I5 series, whatever. Oh, he's real nice. He bought Sade a bag the other year when he was selling hustle. I'm gonna just, it was a mess. So dating a little bit of everybody and then going into the professional field myself, working in tech and dealing with people who are working at different companies and have a huge amount of just different kinds of professional men and dealing with men who are a little more dominant and which I realized that I like. I realized that I like leaders and that I actually would like to be able to I feel like the word I don't like the connotations associated with the word submission, but I want to be able to relax for a bit. If I want to be able to not have to lead everything.
Come on.
Because I come from a space where I've had to lead everything. In my household, I was a co-parent. I paid bills. I did I helped with school homework. I went to open school night. The teachers had my number. I led everything. We went to restaurants. I made sure everybody had their order in. I did it. I was very much running shit from early on. So I realized when I tell you, I'm just going to try to wrap this up a bit. But when I tell you I sobbed in March, it was March, and I realized that like I was sobbing during like the first like 3 weeks of quarantine. 2 weeks I was fine. I was like, oh, I'm alone. I'm by myself. I love this. I don't have to deal with anyone. It was amazing. It was freeing. I love that. But at the same time, not even at the same time, just after that, I began to go into this state of like crying and like I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, what is this coming out? You know what I mean? And as I sat with myself, I realized that I was tired of being strong. You know what I'm saying? I was tired of being, this I have to watch out for everything and everyone and having to do so. I felt like I would love to not have to feel like I'm in a battle when I am dating or dealing with people. That protective, that I need to know, I can't let you get too close. There was always so much being strong all the time. And I realized I want somebody to take my garbage out.
Come on.
I'm not bringing the laundry upstairs. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bringing just the little things. I was so tired of just being physically being strong and having to be emotionally strong for everything and holding myself together, heartbreak after heartbreak after disappointment and I'm tired. Like, I would love to be able to let the walls down and kind of relax and sit back and be with someone who can care for my emotions the way I care for my own emotions. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I let go. And I think those are my main lessons. It started with like speaking up and being able to project, not being afraid to come out with things. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm also very much a sharpshooter. I say exactly what I want when I want it. That's very hard for people. That's very intimidating to men. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one thing. And then into the, boundaries, and then realizing what I wanted and realizing I'm traditional. I want to be able to relax. I would love somebody to lead. I would love somebody who can submit and who I can submit to. And I'm like, and then I relax. I'm like, F it.
That's cool. That's cool. What about you?
Melted on the bread. You know what I'm saying? The potato started boiling. I said, ow! Boiling potato!
Boiling potato. So what about you, D? What do you think you have learned most in your single? D, how long you been single now?
I haven't been in a relationship in like 5-6 years.
Okay.
Like I've dated.
Right.
But I haven't been in a relationship in like 5-6 years. But I don't think I was ready to be in a relationship until like maybe a year and a half ago.
Oh, why not?
But so, I mean, I learned that I'm amazing and I love my company. And I've learned that I don't need to dim my light so somebody else can feel better about their light in my space. And if they don't feel comfortable being in my space, and then they're in certain capacities, and they're not the person for me, and that's okay. What I've learned is that it doesn't make anybody good or bad. It's okay. We're just not compatible, and you keep it moving. I've learned that, especially as things grow in my career, having someone to share those moments with is important to me. But I co-sign everything Briana says, like, take out my garbage.
Right.
I don't feel like I have to prove anything to anybody.
That part.
About my strength and my resilience or what I can or can't. I don't have to prove shit. Can you open this jar?
Come on.
Thank you.
Come on.
My car has a quarter tank of gas. Would you mind
going?
Or don't even have to ask you. Just be like, babe, I used your car to go to the store and I saw that so I filled it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
What sexual favors would you like this week?
We love initiatives.
And
it really is that simple. Like, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. And here's the thing, and I try to explain this to some people, like, New York is a city, unlike any other city in the world. And when you walk out your door, you are on.
Yeah.
There's someone trying to take advantage of you. There's someone talking fast to you. Son, why are you following me down the street? There's somebody, like, and if you're a young woman or a woman, period, in a city such as New York, you do have to have a certain level of aggression and armor with you. And then you're a professional woman. So you're in the tech space. That's a male-dominated space. I'm in entertainment. Everybody trying to sleep with everybody or get over on everybody. Like, you know, and I'm a freelancer. So I'm guarded. I don't have an HR I can go to. And so you're on. When you come home or when you're with your partner, I want to be able to take that armor off. And you still respect me to know if my girl has to put this armor on and go to war, she can fight next to me. But right now, she needs me to open this jar and take out this garbage.
Come on.
And every now and then, watch an episode of Real Housewives.
Hello. Come on. I want to see Potomac, Atlanta, and Beverly Hills.
That's all she needs. That's all I need. And like, you could be the head of the household. Fine. Wear the big drawers. I don't care. Respect me. I respect you. I don't want to, like you said, Brianna, like, I don't want to have to be strong all of the time. And I think it takes a certain type of man to be with a woman that knows she's there because she chooses to be with you, not because she has to be with you. And I think a lot of people aren't that comfortable with themselves or trying to discover if or how they like themselves. So when they meet, a partner that's like, I just want to be with you. They're like, well, why?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've encountered recently. Like, Dana, I think you're so amazing. Oh, great. I think I'm amazing too. I want to be with you, but why?
Mm.
You know, like, you don't love yourself?
Mm-hmm.
It like, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know if I'm doing a good job of describing it. I've learned that because I've been single and taken time to love myself and rebuild myself, especially after an unhealthy relationship. A lot of people have not done that work. I have zero interest in dating someone who's a serial dater. Like, he's never been alone. You've never, I mean, I'm not talking about you having to break somebody off every now and then. I mean, you've never been alone. Like, do you know yourself? Do you even know what you want? Do you even know what you're looking for? Is your time not valuable? Like those kinds of things. So I'm just in a space now where I do want to be in a relationship. I'm dating to be in a relationship. I'm dating multiple people right now, and they're lovely.
Come on, multiple people being lovely. Come on.
They're lovely. They're cool.
Not boiling your potato yet.
Not boiling my potato yet.
Is the water even? Was it the water warm? Like, was the water heating up?
I think the water's still in the Brita pitcher on the counter.
Oh, not still. It didn't even make it to the pot yet. It's not even in the kettle. God.
Maybe it's in the pot and I haven't turned the stove on yet. Or maybe it's in the pot, but it's an electric stove and not a gas.
Ooh, come on. All right.
I don't know, but it's not boiling yet. I do know. I need him to say, okay, I'm gonna turn the stove on.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, okay, we're cooking now. That's what we're doing?
Awesome. I love it.
Okay.
I think for me, what has being single taught me, first I learned how dope I was. Like,
yeah.
And I recorded another podcast last night, and we were talking about, like, infidelity and after heartbreak. And specifically, I needed to go through that healing time. And at the end of that, I realized, I was like, oh, like, I was telling my homegirls, I was like, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. You'd be like, you don't like, you fly. So that was the first thing. Like, Maria had to come into realization of who she is and that she's worth what I'm worth. You know what I mean? My worthiness. And as I would date some guys, or not even date, some guys who would try and find themselves trying to holler, were like, you just being spoiled. I'm like, because I'm holding you accountable. Like,
right.
Like, because I'm holding you, I have a standard and I'm holding you accountable for that standard. Like, I've learned to be vocal and honoring what it is that I need, because let me tell you, and it's not on some, always snapping. That's not what I'm saying, but I know what I'm worth. You get what I mean? I know what I'm bringing to this situation, and I respect what you're bringing. The same way you want me to honor your worth, honor mine, so that's what I've learned to do, to be very comfortable in speaking up for what I want, and to, like, paying attention to my instincts. That has been really good, because I'll go on a date with somebody, I'm like, something in the water ain't right, and then I later on find out something in the water wasn't right, and I'm like, I should have went with my instinct. And I've learned that I can trust my instincts when it comes to dating. Like, something's not right. 2 + 2 = 4. And in his book, it equals 17. Something is not right. So I've also learned, and Dana, you said to the point of, I'm not interested in dating people who haven't done the work. There was a guy that I met online during COVID, and we started talking, and he was in a relationship for 4 years, right? And then in the end of that, I guess another woman came up, and then he went to that one for a year, and both of them were very, like, there were issues going on. Like, this was not, I was like, oh, there was a lot. And then we probably met online maybe like April. And then he was like, yeah, me and that the last one, the 1 year situation, we just broke up in February. It was like, that really means March, because men don't ever get dates straight. And I'm like, you don't just stop talking to somebody. I'm pretty sure y'all was still entertaining. I was like, and you on an online app in April, my man, you need to take time to heal. What are you doing? Like, you can't be out here. And he was like, you wasn't there. I know. I learned my lesson. I learned. I'm like, you got to take a moment, bro. Like, you went from a 4 year to a 1 year, so I look at those things as red flags now. Like 10, 15 years ago, I'd have been like, oh, now I'm like, what is it about you that you can't be by yourself? That
Absolutely.
You sit in solitude and do the work. And the other thing that I've learned, kind of both of you said, like, I'm okay with my, like, I don't need to, like you said, Dina, I don't need to prove my strength. Like, I lead a whole organization, B. I'm making decisions from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So I'm out here, all day, I'm somebody's something. I'm somebody's boss. I'm somebody's mentor. At 7:00, when you said, let's go I don't want to pick the place. I drink Prosecco. As long as they got Prosecco, I'm going to be all right.
I drink Prosecco.
Anybody who knows me knows I drink Prosecco.
I know what Prosecco you drink. Shit.
Come on. Y'all all know she gonna drink Prosecco. She need wine. As long as there's wine there and some food and you, like, that's all I can. Is one dude recently, he was like, and I'll get to this in a second about sometimes dating men who see us in this light of like, you a boss, you it is, kind of get intimidated. And he was like, damn, like, why do you like hanging out with me so much? He's like, I didn't expect you. He's like, you're like this. And he was younger too. He's 29, I'm 35. He's like, I wouldn't expect you to pay me no attention. I said, because when I'm around you, you make me feel like a girl. You understand what I mean? Like, I'm no longer the boss. I'm no longer the CEO. When I'm with you, I am a girl. Like, I'm like, you just take my hand. You're like, all right, let's go here. Let's do this. I'm like, sure. And he couldn't understand that. And I was like, you don't understand. All day, somebody, I'm and then that pressure of being a role model. And I'm just like, no, I just want to dip it and do it with a handsome man tonight. You understand? Like,
right.
That's what it's so. I've learned that that's what I want. And I'm like, listen, I need you to be a leader. I cannot be, because in my last relationship, I carried that relationship. I carried it spiritually. I carried it financially for most of the relationship. I don't want to carry a damn thing. When I walk in the door, I want to and that doesn't negate that I'm strong. I want my man to be like, no, babe, I made reservations for 7. The Prosecco's already, like, when I go to a man's house, like, this happened maybe like pre-COVID, the last weekend before COVID. One of the guys I was dating, I went to his house and he had 2 bottles of Prosecco. And I wasn't drinking at the time. I had took some time off for drinking for Lent. And just the fact that he was like, here, here's your Prosecco. I was like, you love me. Like, like, just she just gonna want some wine and some food. I'm
because you love me.
Me, bro, you got the wine and the Prosecco, like, you got the Prosecco and my food. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I've learned to just be comfortable with being a woman. Because when I was younger, I guess I felt like I had to prove, right? I'm like, you're not gonna take me out on a date, make me put on a lash and make me pay for something. No, unacceptable. You understand what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that once we start dating, I'm not going to step up and hold things down financially, but date one, like, little things like that. Like, I'm like, pick up the tab, do those type of things. Is you a man or not? Like, right. Lead the way. And I learned that I like a leader. Like, I don't want to chase you. Yeah. I'm not doing that. Like, you're going to have to court and pursue.
I don't believe in chasing. I don't believe in chasing a man.
I know. I'm not chasing a damn thing. I'm not chasing you. Like, I'm not playing games with you. This is what I expect. This is what I like. Lead the way. And just because you may see some image on social media, that's not who I am behind closed doors. I just want to be a woman. I just want to feel like a girl.
And let me say this, right? I think that's a lot of pressure on men, especially our brothers. It's a lot. However, there are times where you need a respite, and I can be that for you as well. I will say that I'll introduce myself to men. I will hit on men because men don't hit on me. I will totally do that. Maria has seen it. I have very good lines. I have a technique and a skill set.
She does. And she's a freaking amazing. Like, and I'm not like that. So Dana's like the perfect homegirl to go out with. Because Dana will
I'm like, oh, that's the dude you want to talk to? Bet. You know, but I'll say that, like, you know, and that was the thing in LA too. I felt like a lot of the guys wanted to be courted. It's a whole nother show. There's only so much I can do. And after a while, I'm gonna feel like I'm wearing the pants. Right. So you can't expect me to court you and chase you and then let you drive this car too. That's me. Like it doesn't work that way. You can't have it both. You can't have it both ways in that regard. That's not gonna work. Agreed. I want to be courted too. I want to be the girly girl. Aren't you supposed to be the hunter or something? Isn't that what you're teaching?
I want to be a hunter. Like, I want to be hunted. Like, you know, like I want to be courted. I want to feel like, oh, okay. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say, I want to feel protected and provided for. Like, that's what I want. I have my own. I can probably protect myself with this bat if the killer come in this house at 2:00 in the morning. But I want to know that if the killer come in the house, you got my back. You know what I mean? You like, I'ma die first. You know, like you gonna go out there. You gonna protect me. I need to make sure that I'm okay, because it's a lot of women we holding down, we doing it all, and we make it look real easy. You know what I mean? And this has been a hard year, and I'm not saying our brothers, they have their stuff too. Like, they have a lot, and I don't want to negate that. Like, it's all about what they can do for us, because like you said, D, like, I want to be that space for you. I'll hold you down. But you know what I mean? The scripture says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, not she who finds a husband. Like, you gotta have the court. Right.
That's actually one of my first date questions is, if we're in the bed sleeping and the door's over here, which side of the bed are you on? I need to know that you're gonna be the first person when the killer comes in.
I'm gonna use that.
I'm like, which side of the bed you on? Door's over there. Go. If he says I'm in the back, no, because I gotta live to tell about it. No. When the killer comes in, you got no.
And you know, another thing I noticed that I need a man that can handle all the rooms that I'll be in.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes. Because, like, you know, I'm cute, but I got rich. You know, like, you're gonna have to be able to go from the projects to the plaza with me. You understand what I mean? Like, one day I might be over here in the hood, you know, chilling with my cousins, chilling with my family. The other day, now I'm sitting next to some gala of a fundraiser. I'm speaking on a stage. I'm in the neighborhood, local bar situation. Like, you need to be comfortable in all those rooms. And my problem has been that I'll meet a guy in one room, and then he can't translate to the other rooms. I'm like, you a little too hood. That's not gonna work. Or you a little too or you a little too squarish. That's not gonna work. And that's not to. I'm not hating on nobody, right?
No.
But I'm like, that's not gonna work. You can't get scared if I say we going back to Brooklyn to see my family. You gonna be like, what do I, you know, like, I need you to be able to hold it down. So that's another thing I learned. I need somebody who we know how to code switch. We are beautiful Black professional women. So we are in so many different rooms. I need you to be comfortable in those rooms that I'm in. And Dana, I know you work around like celebrities, right? So you're always like in front of somebody high profile. Have you ever met men who have felt intimidated?
Yes.
In your success?
Absolutely. And actually, it was a guy in LA who pointed it out to me. He said, you never talk about work. He was like, if somebody wants to know about your work and what you do, they have to go to your Instagram. You never talk about work. And I was like, and I was like, yeah, it's like something I think I subconsciously knew, but I never really spoke about or paid too much attention to, because I had 2 different instances where I brought a guy with me to 2 different men to 2 different work events, and they were extremely uncomfortable. And they looked at me almost like this person who's, you know, in a t-shirt and underwear cooking all the time in the house actually is this other person outside. Because I'm very domestic. I'm OCD clean. I love to go to the grocery store. I love to do this. Like, I'm very like I don't know, traditional role or however you want to put it in that regard. That maybe it's just a little Southern girl in me. So to see me in certain rooms, they were like, it totally threw them off. One of them just went and sat in the corner and completely shut down. The other one, it started a big fight on the car ride home.
Why?
So I don't know. I swore at that moment I would never bring another man to a working function until I was absolutely certain he was comfortable and I wouldn't have to babysit him. And I think that that's a common thing because when I went to LA, I was in LA maybe 2 months, and one of my homeboys from New York who had also just moved to LA, his girlfriend didn't want to come with him to an event, and so he's like, "D, why don't you come to this event with me?" And I went to the event. I went to work in the room, honey. I worked the room. And he came back at the end of the night. He was like, He's like, I haven't seen or been to an event where the woman I've brought with me hasn't been up under me the whole time. Mm-hmm. He's like, it was nice to go out and like, you were your own person. Like, you knew people in the room. You're like, hey girl. And I will check in. Are you fine? Okay, I'm gonna be over here. And he's like, I haven't had that. I haven't had that in a very long time. And I was like, who you dating?
Right.
Like, we're not dating. We're not going to date, but who are you dating? Mm-hmm. You know? So I think it kind of goes both ways in that regard.
Okay. That's really deep. That's really deep. So let's go and segue a little bit into 2020, because this year has been a year, to say the least. This year has been traumatic. I don't care what anybody says. Like, this is a traumatic year, right? Has quarantine restrictions, anything, changed your perspective? Or have you had to change anything about how you date besides the clear wear a mask and all this other stuff? Now in 2020, like so for me personally, I literally was like, once like quarantine happened, and I started to realize what was important, if that made sense. I didn't know. I was like, okay, this thing called life is not guaranteed, like things can literally change in my life overnight. And I had put so much work to my professional goals that I realized I was not putting the same amount of effort into the legacy that I want to leave family-wise. Mm-hmm. And I have my own issues about that. And I literally had to say to myself, girl, you can't play around anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like people are laughing because I'm like, I got 4.5 years to get married. I have 2 sons, right? Because that's where I want to be by 40, right? I'm like, I got 4.5 years to push out 2 sons to get married. But because that's my own goal in my head. But a year ago, I was not in this space. I was just on I am a dip it, do it, have a good time. But for me personally, this whole year made me realize what I really wanted. And I had to assess what I was saying was important to me. And now I am holding myself accountable to those words I said. And I have my friends around me holding me accountable. Like, I'm not deep. Like, I am at that point where I'm like, if I don't see this going anywhere, I cannot. And that was a decision I made like 2-3 weeks ago, because I was still having a hot girl summer of 2020 out here. And I was just like, okay, you can't no longer do this, sis. Like, I had to have a conversation with myself, said, no, this is where you want to be in 4.5 years. The same way you bust your behind and make all the sacrifices for your professional goals, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And Briana, you said something to like not taking number. I'm like, no, like, I don't want to. I'm just in that space. Like, I'm making room for what I really want, if that makes
Absolutely.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I say that.
What about you guys in dating in 2020? Like, has anything changed?
Yeah. So I was having a light hot girl summer.
A light hot girl summer.
Like a diet hot girl summer.
Diet, a little the Walmart brand. What's the great value hot girl summer? I was like, I know I was tired, And so I was just allowing myself to have a bit more fun per se. I just didn't care. I didn't care, which kind of helped out. But I was kind of dating. It's so weird because these are people who, and it's him. They probably won't see it. But these are people who I liked, but I knew it wasn't gonna. And I knew there was something that wasn't gonna be able to go farther. It wasn't gonna be able to go long term. So I found myself this 2020 battling with, do you date? Do I still date you? Or am I wrong? Am I taking advantage of somebody if I'm dating them and I know that we're not going to be together forever?
Mm.
As simple as that was, and it was like I would find myself dating people. I'm like, this could be, okay, this is cool, but like it wasn't. I knew it wouldn't be long term. I knew it, and then I'm like, does that mean I immediately cut you off? And how do I even say that? You know what I'm saying? How do I even tell you that I don't really have like a really concrete reason? It just, I can just feel that this isn't going to go anywhere any longer, or I don't want to. I don't. It was becoming a little complex because it was like, with your dad, when you were saying like your dad was like a few days in, he knew. You know what I'm saying? When you're really sure in yourself, you can be really sure about things external to you. You know what I'm saying? So I realized I was coming into the sureness of myself with a lot of things, and I realized I would know really, really early. I mean, if not when I met you, you know what I mean? You can feel it, and then things begin to happen to prove things, or kind of, because you have your own, as a woman or as a human, you have your own intuitive compass, right? You have your own intelligent source within you that's kind of leading you, you know what I mean, and letting you know things. And I would have these feelings, and then people would do things, and you live through situations that you then are able to confirm, logically,
Right.
that you were intuiting. So I would know immediately. Like I done did this. My intuition tells I've had this feeling before. You know what I'm saying? So I can wait for this to play out and have fun and do dinner, or I can not waste your time or waste my time. And it's like, are we wasting time?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I was just like, all right, like I'm just gonna not think about it. I'm gonna lightly date this. I want this to be light. I kept it as light as possible, and then I just allowed myself to kind of fall back, just and being more receptive, if that made any sense, because I can be pretty aggressive as a person. Like, it kind of reminded me of what you were explaining when you were saying like you're definitely the friend who like segues. Yeah, let's talk to him. Yeah, what's up? You know, I'm like, hey, how you doing? You got a nice face on you, love. I'm very much, I have no problem being the social butterfly. I could be in your face. I can be back home in my bed. So it was like I just want to be, I think, with myself a bit more, and I realized that I want to. I realized that I want to allow things to just come to me a bit, and I feel like I already put the work out there. I already did, my thing. And yeah, so then again, cheese melted, potato them ball. So it's like it was interesting. It was interesting, but I will say my most like the most pivotal moment for me was that sobbing in March and realizing like I don't want to have to protect myself so much.
Mm.
It's tiring. I want to be dainty. I told my mother. My mother is very much, just to give you like a really quick idea of like how I grew up. My mom is disabled, right? She has one good leg, the other leg don't bend because she got the knee replacement. The whole thing, she has a cane. My mother is moving a shelf. She's like, I'm gonna need you to pick the other end of the couch up. Get on a count of three. We're gonna lift it to the other side, and then I'm gonna take the cabinet. I'm gonna move that shelf over to the other side of the room. We're gonna bring that one down the hall.
The most.
I'm like, why don't you call one of, can daddy come do this? Like, what? Like, what are you doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
My mom was like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm not waiting on no man. I'm not calling no man to come help, because she to do that. My mom has been in the very consistent, very perpetual state of having to be strong as fuck all the time, and never being able to, or never feeling comfortable enough to depend on people because of whatever other things have happened in her life. So I'm like, I said, mommy, I'm dainty now. I'm dainty. I'm like,
I'm not picking it up.
I'm dainty. I love that. I'm gonna start using that. I'm dainty. I don't know.
I don't lift up everything.
The laundry was downstairs. She's like, "You just gonna leave your laundry?" I said, "Yeah, somebody's gonna bring it up." I said, "I have somebody that's gonna pick it up in a second. Like, it's fine. You gotta take it downstairs. Somebody's gonna stay down there. I have somebody who's gonna bring it up."
It's so funny you say that. When I remember our apartment off of Parkside, Maria.
Yes.
One of my homeboys came and he was visiting from LA or whatever, and I was like, I put everything together by myself. I was so proud, and he was like, "Don't tell nobody that." I was like, "What?" He's like, "You said that like 3 times since I've been here." He's like, "Don't tell nobody that." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because that means you ain't got no man." I was like, I thought I was good with the IKEA furniture.
That means you ain't got.
He said, "Don't tell nobody that. That means you ain't got no man." I said, "Okay."
Oh my goodness.
So I'm dainty now.
We dainty.
Dainty.
What is that as women that we just get so used to this? Like, it's like, and what I've also realized is like, when it shows up, some of us don't even know how to be dainty. Like, you understand what I mean? And he looking at you like, sis, I could have definitely picked that up for you. And you're like, no, I could do it myself. And it's like a relearning. Like when that man shows up, it's like you have to unlearn and then you have to learn being dainty again. You're like, oh, right, I got you. You can come take out this garbage. And I'm like, it's an adjustment, because when you out here being single, like you like by myself, like, and
you're not trying to wait on nobody because you're not trying to hold up progress, and
right.
It's just like go, keep it moving. I don't know what I would do if somebody showed up. I was like, "Oh, I'll put that together for you." I'd probably be like,
"What?
Are you trying to kidnap me?
You're like,
are you trying to put me in the trunk of your car?"
Right.
Who are you? Who sent you?
What? And it's like, and he looking at you like, sis, I was just trying to like help. And you like, help.
He's like, I'm from TaskRabbit, ma'am. You paid for me. Oh, okay. Got it. I forgot, Hector. You were coming. My bad.
Funny. My bad. D, has your dating game changed in 2020 for anything? Your face?
Nah, it's still garbage. No, it just changed, like locations.
Can I just share one time Dana posted? If y'all don't follow Dana on Instagram, y'all have to @just Dana Blair. When you posted that this dude tested positive for COVID.
Oh, sir, ma'ams and sirs and ma'ams and sirs.
Can you tell the people what happened there? What?
He was a little cutie. We both swiped right. And we were gonna go on like a little COVID meet up, you know, outside, have a little coffee and a stroll. And then something in my spirit said, ask this man if he's been socially distancing or what he's been doing, because I'm often back and forth to New Orleans to check on my dad or whatever. And so I asked him, and he said, well, he was like, I've been socially distancing because I tested positive for COVID 10 days ago. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to go out on Friday.
Come on. You said
you weren't going to tell me unless I asked you?
The audacity.
Oh. The audacity. So
COVID is changing everything. So one night, and I was with Miss Deanne. It was me, Deanne. We were all outside. We were at I forgot where we were at, but we were all out, right? And it was like, it was Old Babel. And Dee, I don't know if you've been to Old Babel, but Old Babel, like the back, it's like you can sit in the backyard, and it was literally 4 of us, and we were manning that area, like no more than 4 of us, right? So this dude come in and he's on the phone, and your friend, and she's like, excuse me, sir, don't come over here with that negative energy. We don't know what you carry, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, excuse me, I'm like, everybody, like, we like, you doing the most, you getting close. He was like, nah, I just got tested 2 days ago. I was like, oh, okay. Like, literally. I was like, oh, okay.
But he tested positive?
No, he tested negative. He was like, nah, I got it. And I was like, oh, literally, that was one of his pointers why he got my number that night. I was like, okay, he's negative.
He's so negative.
I was like, he tested negative. Like, I was laughing at myself. I was like, did you give him your number? Because he was kind of cute.
No, I think that's one of the hardest things. It's like, it's just, everything is on lockdown, and now you're being forced to have to speak with people, and you're realizing people don't really have communication skills.
Absolutely not. Okay. Okay.
You know, and so I was like, you know what? Let me just focus on my point.
Hello.
And trying to stay off the pole, and then I'm gonna focus on what I gotta focus on.
That's pretty much all we can do, ladies. It's like we gotta focus on what we focus on. My whole thing is, I'm like, damn, we living in a COVID world. Where am I gonna meet him? At the grocery store? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, or it's kind of one of those things. And I know I tried online dating, but didn't work for me.
It's not for me. It's not
for me. I was like, are y'all all this weird? And this is no shade, because I know there's people out here who find dope situations. I know people who are getting married, are married, or for people they met online. Great. But it seemed like I don't have the gift.
Not the gift. No, I mean, I've met some cool guys, and I've gone on some cool dates, and have had some cool experiences from it. But I just think it's so hard. I just think it's hard, but we'll see what happens.
A lot of fishing. I think it's a lot of filtering.
Yeah.
Filtering for your life. It was scary for me. It was so scary. I think I did dating. I did it one time, but I was like, I just want to date. I did this right after my 3-year stint, and I was like, I just want to date people. Like, I'm in a great place. I feel great. Like, I want to date. And they were like, just do Bumble, like just do something.
Yeah.
Like, do that stuff. I'm like, I don't do that stuff. You don't understand. I feel like I know what I'm attracting. If you attract what you are, and this whole thing. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I did Bumble. And I remember somebody, and I swear he was a cokehead. I swear he was a cokehead. I was like, okay. He had a string backpack. First off, this was not the.
He had a string backpack? No, he did.
Oh, the drawstring.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
He had a drawstring backpack, and I was like, where are you going? Like, where are we, aren't we going to go, like, get food? Or he's like, yeah, what? It was just, I was so scared. I was like, I think.
Yeah, I was so scared.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's a cokehead, or like something a little more heavy, and just was like, it was like you just started doing something heavy.
Oh,
I'm from Brooklyn. And like, I know.
Something ain't right here. Something ain't right.
Something ain't right. Something ain't right.
I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm fine. And then after, I'm like, I'm just gonna go to everyone's event. I'm gonna be at Twitter. Yeah, they're having an event. Great. That's great. Who's Sony?
She said, I'm from Brooklyn. I miss that.
Be everywhere. All right, ladies. I just want to be mindful of the time here. One last question. What advice would you give to a woman who is newly single, right? And she's like taking, and you know what I mean? She's a little, I guess, she's not excited about being single right now. What advice would you give to her? Saying it in your face.
I just say take your time, because if trying to rush into something can give you something that you really just don't want, that can have long-term effects in your life. Take your time. The present is perfect, and just take your time. Just take your time.
What about you, Brie?
I think it's the most beautiful thing to be newly anything. That
it's closer to the mic, babe. A little closer to the mic. Okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful to be newly in anything. I think that this is life. Like, things begin and they end. And I think that when it comes to newly being single, that disappointment, or you're dealing with like the feeling of loss because things are changing, and I may not have been wanted. So I totally understand. But I think that it's beautiful. It's a blessing, and it's always a sign. For me, being single has always been a very beautiful transitional moment. It's always been a sign that there's something else that I should be or could work on. You know what I'm saying? Or not even work, just allow. There's something else I can just allow to be, or come into. And I think that being with yourself, like, you remember you guys were saying, like, being single taught you, and dating has taught you that you're dope as fuck. Like, take a second and see now who you are after this, after that, after something ends and something else is now beginning, you and you. Take it, and I agree, take your time with yourself. Take your time, let it be fun. Shit.
Yeah. I would say take your time. I would also say grieve Give your space to grieve whatever you lost just now. That's okay. And it's okay to feel there. Feel those feelings. Allow yourself to feel whatever hurt, pain, whatever it is that you're going through. Allow yourself to feel it. And then, enter your healing process and really get to know you again. Sometimes we can lose ourselves in relationships. I know. So it's just like, get to know you and date yourself. Kinda like, girl, take yourself out on a date, travel, get to like focus on the coin, on your purpose. Like, where can you channel that energy to? Like, what have you let slip that maybe you're like, all right, I want to pick that back up. I want to write that book. I want to, start, that business, whatever, and focus on that. Alrighty. All right. So tell the people how to follow you, how to support you, all that other jazz, what you got coming up, all that.
Let me go. So, y'all can follow me on Instagram. So my Instagram is @clevernelson_, exactly how it sounds. I am going to be starting I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel that I may transition into some form of a podcast as well, because I like to talk. I got a lot of things to say. And I've realized that I want to be in a space. I just need to be in my own space to do all of that how I want to. You know what I'm saying? So you guys look out for that. Also, if anybody needs a website, build or whatever, call me. You can DM me or whatever. I'm here. Okay.
She's in the
Actually, I may have to, Maria, connect us because
okay.
I got some stuff for you.
Okay. Come on, connections. Y'all better go ahead and build the site. What about you, D?
And it's a paycheck too. It's not like exposure, because I don't believe in work for exposure.
Come on. Get a word.
Let's talk.
Like, Maria, connect us. I'm @justDana Blair on Instagram. I don't know how else you can support me other than follow, share, keep me in your positive spirits. That I come out of this apartment whole after COVID.
I love it. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of the Embrace Her Legacy podcast. We were talking about being single in the city, our dating tales. Be sure to follow us at Embrace Her Legacy on all social media channels. Make sure you subscribe, share with a friend, share with somebody you like. I know Dave be like, share with people you like, you don't like. Anybody, follow, share, retweet, all of that. Until next time, always be a woman who embraces her legacy. Good night.
Thank you for tuning in to the Embrace Her Legacy podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, please make sure to subscribe and visit embraceherlegacy.com to make a donation or sign up to become a part of our community of volunteers and supporters, the Embrace Her Legacy Collective. Make sure you follow us at Embrace Her Legacy to get daily inspiration and join our movement. Thank you for listening, and remember, you're enough, you're worthy, and you're a phenomenal woman who embraces her legacy.